So we're gonna present to you our story. How do we create a GPT radio that speaks in Belarusian language? It was created by me, Dennis, and two other guys. And on the path on that, it was some easy and hard steps for us, and we're gonna share it with you.
By telling this story, we want to share with you an idea on how to check your idea for startup quickly, especially in field of AI. We think that in this field, like AI itself, it seems like a great technology, but it's a technology that's looking for a problem. And many people have ideas, they want to test them, focus on them, but we want to show you how you can test them quickly without spending a fortune on it, and quickly get to know, is this idea valid and worth pursuing forward?
Yes, so we have a little agenda here. So at first we're going to define what was the idea. Then we'll tell you a story. How do we form a team? How do we decide what to do as MVP, minimum viable product? Then the implementation part that Dennis will share with you. Then the part, how do we go to market quickly to get a feedback? Then how do we analyze this data, and what decision did we made at the end? So without further ado, let's go to defining an idea. An idea was very simple: to create a radio that costs almost zero to promote Belarusian language and culture. Because many of us are living in exile, and to create such a media, it costs money. And if it's cost almost zero, so it could support itself. That was the idea.
And this idea had some time. It didn't start it right off the bat. George actually came up with it like 2 years ago, tracking when ChatGPT was first released. And technology just wasn't there. There was no TTS model to build upon that speaks Belarusian language quite well, so he waited for it. And even now, like, technology seems to arrive, something is available. The first thing he did is he went ahead and find a team. And to find a team, you want to be in an environment where you are likely to find like-minded people. So in our case, it was Krakow Business Club, and it was organized by a Belarusian organization. So you're likely to find people who know what your language is, what your problems are, and share your idea with you. So here we met three of us, George, Vanya, me, Dennis, and we all three of us were interested, and we started building from there.
Yes, and what I want to add, that some people, they try to keep their idea to themselves, afraid that it's going to be stolen by other people. But the reality is that it's very hard to persuade somebody to do what you want to do. So as more people get involved into your idea and to share your idea, the better chance you have to make it real. And the three of us started. We decided what the project would look like, and then we searched for the backend specialist that would do like some backend job for us. And we found Dima, and this is his story. He asked me to read it. So one day, a regular Krakow's IT man was sitting in a trivial Telegram chat and doing nothing. Suddenly, he saw the question of George: is there anyone who wants to join a startup and help with the backend? This guy was absolutely no backend guru, just had some curiosity and decided, why not? That was the price that he was working for us.
Yeah, he specifically asked to read it in this kind of style, you know.
Yeah. That it would be like a presentation of a new voice model of OpenAI.
Yeah, but we did it on purpose. We wanted to show you how it can look like for a person who don't know you. It was actually his reaction on a social media post of George, and George just shared it openly. And Dimitri, he reacted. It was interesting for him, and he actually did quite a ton of work on this project. So it's just an example of how you can get a fresh mind, another pair of hands on your project just by sharing it openly. Don't hesitate.
All right, then we need to decide what would be a minimal viable product, as minimal as possible. And we decided on these 5 things: that we prepare text by manual LLM prompting, no automation apart from like simple scripts. We prepare voices by manual input to text to speech models. We create only 2 hours of radio air and repeat it on loop, so we wouldn't work with heavy files, transfer it to not to each other and increase the load. We also create forms to gather a feedback from users, so we would know how to improve our service from the users, not from our own ideas. And also the most important part, that we use Google Analytics out of the box, that it's easy to implement, and we know for sure what how our users using our product.
And we went on implementing it. So first idea was to not host any music at all, just use third-party streaming services API, only serve host speech, and have some console to make a playlist, something like that, have simplistic front end. So that sounded like a good idea, and we went on searching for actual AI models. What we did is we simply gathered together in a tea house, drinking tea, getting to know each other better. And okay, what do we need to do? We need to find LLM that can speak Belarusian language. Go ahead and search it. We searched 3 of us together. Seems like very easy to find it. Even ChatGPT speaks quite well in Belarusian nowadays, so we didn't spend much time on it. Big ChatGPT, go forward. But with TTS, text-to-speech, it was much more complicated. A lot of them, if not majority, speak like with heavy influence of other language. It's such a heavy accent, it's barely can be recognized as Belarusian.
It's either like lost tourists from United States in Belarus trying to find a path, or like a Polish guy who drink too much beer and like trying to speak Belarusian.
Yeah, Polish,
So
Ukrainian, English, all over the place, but
that
not
was
Belarusian accent. And then finally, we found a project called Donor.by. Shout out to these guys. They are doing amazing job. They are collecting pieces of audio, people specifically can record how they read sentence and then can read and approve it. And they collect a big database of these sentences to teach LLM. And they actually prepared a model, which is Bell TTS, open sourced. We picked it, we liked it, and we decided to run with it in the beginning.
Yeah, so then we need to decide on initial front end, and we were arguing our job was to reduce as much functionality as we can. In the first attempt, we decided that we would give a form for people who would like to advertise on our radio, how to monetize, and also we would give the button to make a donation. But we didn't plan to connect a payment gateway because it's hard, it takes time. We wanted just to see how many people would click on a donation, so we would understand how many people would like to donate, and by that understand whether or not it's viable.
And for the backend, we then figured that using third-party API doesn't really work very well, especially for SoundCloud. They disabled the API service, and we needed to serve hosts speech anyway. So we went for some Caster FM, like a free tier solution for MVP up to 100 listeners, and we built this backend architecture. Dimitri was in charge of that, and he did quite a good job. And he did a lot more later, but this was enough for us to have some working version.
Yeah, so we get the working version in like 2 weeks, and we get back each 2 weeks. There was a meeting of this Krakow Business Club, and we get back to this Krakow Business Club and say, hey guys, do you remember like last meeting that we shared this idea? Here's some product that you can use. And we get the feedback from them in a real time. They open it, some of them didn't open it, so it was buggy. Some of them say like, hey, I can understand that this is a robotic voice, but most of the feedback was positive. People were curious and like, wow, this is really like can be done. And that gives us like a positive feedback, and we continue.
Yeah, we decided to make one more refinement loop, at least to make it work, right? Before we make a big public release. And the first thing we wanted to improve is the voice of our TTS model. The one from DonorBuy, while good, it was lacking intonation. It was much robotic. So we just reached out to them, and they actually just shared with us their data set. Just go ahead, train your own. And we did something, but it wasn't enough. Like, we couldn't beat them. We didn't have time to do that. We wanted to be quick. So we actually dropped this idea. We moved on, but we will come back to this later.
Yeah, so the new UI feedback, we get rid of the advertisement and donation because of the rights to the music. People start asking you, what are you doing with the rights with the music? And we understand, oh yeah, we need to ask this artist permission, and we ask, I manually write to the artist. Some of them say, yeah, of course. Some of them said, oh no, like it's better not to show my music on this. So we need to redo this 2-hour air on radio. And also we get to know that if you do not supposed to earn some money and you transmit this music, so most of the people wouldn't care. So we decided to get rid of the monetization for now and see what the analytics do we get releasing it for free. And with this functionality, what do we add? We add additional forms so that people would share their ideas and feedback.
And we redid backend a few times. We needed to scale it to support a few thousand listeners at least. And we tried a few solutions. Like, there was a relay to stream, didn't work quite well. There was AzureCast, like big solution that's supposed to solve all the problems. It didn't for us.
Wasn't good at all. Like Dima was not happy at all with AzureCast.
Worked quite terribly, yeah. And then we landed at this. This is something that worked. Just on the standard server, was able to support a few thousand people. So we were happy with that. If you want to know more technical details, you'll have our contacts in the end of this talk. And if you happen to want to build a radio, Dima will tell a lot for you. Yeah, and this is a slide that we wanted to show you. Like, you imagine radio, you want to have it fully automated. So you have a playlist, and then the host takes information from news article, from calendar, makes up interesting story all on the fly, sends it to TTS. TTS voices it over, sends it to the live stream, and that would be a dream radio, wasn't it? But it's quite complex. And we, from the beginning, decided that our target is to prove an idea, to check if it's valid or not. And we intentionally didn't build this one.
Yeah, because to build this one, you need a lot of time and resources, and we didn't have that, but don't want to spend that. So here is the 2 examples.
Yeah, we have 2 examples of the voices. If I can turn them on.
Yeah, so the first one was from DonorBuy. Yeah. Yeah, no.
Let's see if I can turn them on.
Okay. Is it a Google Slides or is it PDF?
Yeah,
should work. All right. We can prepare for that in case. Too many people write to me after you did.
Well,
okay.
Maybe we just let people to listen to our radio afterwards. What do you think?
We want to show the difference, what was before and after.
Yeah, so generally, just a week before the release, somebody write to us on social media like, "Hi, I heard your radio, I heard your voice, and it sounds kind of robotic. Do you know that OpenAI just like a week ago released advanced voice mode that can do better in Belarusian language?" And we're like, what? And we checked it, and it actually does. And maybe we have a chance to listen together now.
Беларускай ГПТ радыёстанцыі. Сёння мы робім неверагодны крок у свет сучасных тэхналогій і беларускай культуры.
So, it's not from my, it's not from me. It's from the presentation. Oh, okay. So this voice is a voice from donor Bai, and it cost us nothing to generate that. And we also have the insider information that they are gathering more data, and soon they will be able to release better quality model. But we needed to wait like a few months, and we didn't want to wait a few months. And while I was sharing about this project, somebody came to us and say, "Hey, listen, like the OpenAI, they did this release. Like, why don't you check it out?" And
Can we just turn on the second audio file now? That would be sampled from OpenAI.
The anticipation. As you can hear. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, that's enough. That's enough. Thank you.
So as you no, yeah, that was our reaction as well. So no accent, and it's soft. It's a pleasure to listen.
Yeah, so I was flying on like a trip for work, and we last minute got this info. I was in charge of AI stuff in this project, so I just revoiced this entire playlist of 2 hours in the airport, like coding some Python a little bit, and we got to the actual release with the new voice.
Yes, and then we have a fully functional MVP that could support like a few thousand listeners, and we needed to go to market. And before we even started the project, I wrote to mass media and asked them, "Hey guys, would you be interested to write about first ever built GPT radio on Belarusian language?" And a lot of them say yes. And I encourage you to, when you speak with mass media, use this first ever. This is a hook that hooks them to write about you for free. So we get published in a few media like CityDog, Nasha Niva, DevBuy, and also Euro Radio, which were a little bit afraid. Like the reporter, the journalist asked me, "Are you going to replace us? Like, what's going on?" And we said, "No, guys, you are doing a good job. It's hard to replace you."
Yeah, and this is how it looked like when we released. It still looks like this today. You can go to gptradio.online, make sure to make it HTTPS, then it will work on mobile as well. And yeah, it just worked. We made a simple UI, we made a simple backend, and 2 hours of podcast.
Yeah, and if you speak English, you also can listen because there is an English version as well. You can just need to switch.
Upper right corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's easy to do LLM in English, it's just 5-minute task.
So it's just about Russian music with English host.
Yeah, and we gathered some feedback. Feedback was mostly positive. Some feature requests, some just general comments. People loved it, seemingly, from the feedback. But what we wanted to look at the actual usage, because this tells us more about how this product is actually being used.
And so we come to a point where we need to analyze data. Like what does it say to us? Like how does people use it? And this is the data from the usage. You can see 2 spikes. Yeah, that were the release of the articles in mass media was. And unfortunately, the key metric is 38 seconds. 38 seconds of average listening of this radio. So as you understand, the assumption is failed, because it's supposed to be the radio that people listen on the background in the kitchen and get to learn Belarusian language and get to learn new musicians. It didn't. People don't listen radio on browser anymore. But there is some side benefits that we get by doing this project. First, we get real experience on working with these models. We now understand how to connect them, what's could be challenges in working with them. Second, we get to know each other while we were working, and right now we have a team that could be like used on another project. And third, while we were doing, a lot of people get involved and get excited. So there is many connections that were formed during this project. And to understand how much does it cost to us, it cost less than $50 for the whole team and less than a month of our time, which was fun. So this is the side benefits that I hope would encourage you to do a project and to fail fast in case your assumption didn't work out.
Yeah, and to be clear, it wasn't like months of work full-time. We all have full-time jobs. We just gathered together on the weekend in a tea spot, and we also did some work after in evenings. So it was not a lot of time and a lot of fun. These are links to our social media. Feel free to connect to us. If anybody is interested in how it works under the hood, wants to talk about AzureCast or other online radio with Dimitri, we feel like we will connect you. Feel free. And to be clear, our story is not universal recipe, right? Not a silver bullet. We cannot guarantee that if you fail fast, this is a way to move your project forward. But if our story helps you to get started, encourages you to start moving, and don't be afraid, share your idea, then it's great. We had fun. Now it's your turn. Thank you.
Wow, thanks.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so questions. Yep.
Thank you for speech. Do you already has already extremist status in Belarus?
In Belarus.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually part of the reason why Dmitry did not give us his picture because of that risk. But generally, no, like it went quite well. We didn't have any problems with that. And yeah.
They didn't capture us in 38 seconds.
Yeah. Too short.
Thank you for your speech or for your presentation. It was really interesting and inspiring. And my question is, why do you think people are not really interested in AI radio or AI radio in Belarusian? What do you think, guys?
I can give you my opinion. It might be that we picked a platform the wrong way, because having to open a browser, keep it open somewhere in the background might be a bit inconvenient. People don't used to it. If you go to listen music, you have a habit to go somewhere like a YouTube or maybe Telegram, something. And we picked an unusual platform. Maybe that was our mistake. So there was even an idea, a talk today, to just move this same project to Telegram, because everybody in Belarus has Telegram, and this might turn out with completely different result. But it might be as well something else.
I think that there is already existing solution that does not have an AI built in, like SoundCloud or the Euro Radio. They have these 3 radio stations that you can listen, depend on which one do you like. So I think there is no need for AI yet in this particular area in this time.
Go ahead.
And actually, I want to add something. If any of you would like to continue this journey, we would like to give you this project for free. If you feel that you can do something other than radio or something else, feel free to contact us. We are ready to give it for free. Okay, yeah.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for this presentation. And as I understand, this project is non-commercial. So do you plan to move your project to open source? I believe that there is many Belarusian people would like to help you with, I don't know, for starting from front end, back end, graphic, marketing, anything. What do you think?
And oh, thanks. Thank you for the question. I never done open source project, so I don't know how you do that. Maybe you can come and talk to us and explain how does it work, and if it's not a big investment of time, then maybe.
Okay, thank you. I believe that it's a good idea.
I believe it worth an invitation to the party.
Yeah, for sure. +1.
Hey guys, thank you for presentation again. I just wanted to ask you, have you mentioned, like, have you tried to do the podcast type of radio? Have you mentioned that in the presentation somewhere? No,
No.
Have I missed it?
We actually did, but
Mm.
we didn't mention it, but we did try this, but only in English language because it's already available, like Notebook LM, something like
Right.
this.
Mhm.
Yeah, you just feed it information, it gives you the podcast. Not available in other languages just yet. So for Belarusian version, we have like a script that is supplying track before, track after, some supplementary information. You get a text, then this text gets voiced over by TTS. It would be perfect to have it in podcast format. It's just we are not there yet.
Yeah, well, I think we'll see, like, in half a year, maybe a year, if Notebook LM will, ship some other languages, and if Belarusian language will be available, I guess it will be a step up for your game, for real. Yeah, thanks.
And let's go with the last question, as we need to go to the party.
Okay, good evening. As a feedback, because I listened to the radio maybe for 4 hours, but then I got tired of the loop, and I would say that voice too sleepy because you have to add some scandals, some intonations, some personality, because and just don't stop because I think this is a great future. About this radio and about such radio stations, if you would be able to add some site information, some like subscription to API, to some sports news, weather forecasts, not political news. We have a lot of political radio stations, but business news, maybe some, and mix it together. It will go. It will go. It will fly. But for now, it's very short loop, and you just get tired, and you would not meant to listen whole evening for just this loop words of few songs.
Why did you listen to the end of the loop?
I listened twice at least.
Oh, yeah, why?
Why? Because it's just like music, and I just tried to find maybe there is some Belarusian song I didn't listen to before.
Why didn't you go to SoundCloud and just push a button with the Belarusian songs like best of 100 or something like that?
That is what I want to say, because I have a subscription for YouTube Music, but I need this voice in between, and I want to say that now this voice is too sleepy. It's just and without some information, without some intonations, and you just put some humanity inside it. Maybe.
All right. So maybe the Donor Buy will release a new model. So maybe it's gonna be better. And Yeah, actually, initial idea, as you describe, it would be a radio that you can push some information like news or weather, and also that the advertisers, they could come, they would put their input, and the models will create an ad for them and play this ad to the audience, and that's how this business could sustain itself. So that was the initial ideas. If we would get enough users listening, then we could do automation, and then this automation would lead to ads, and these ads would pay for the whole party.
Nice idea, but
Guys, sorry, I have to stop it.
Yeah, let's go to the party and discuss it afterwards.
Let's have. I have a request for the last question, but promise me to keep it short.
This is not about question, maybe proposition to make it more alive and interesting for people. What do you think about to transform to speech most interesting and toxic speech from Twitter, from Belarusian Twitter?
I wonder how instead of asking questions, people start giving advices.
Yeah, it's still live. You can go and
Go and work.
Fill the form. Okay, thank you guys for your attention. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to present you.